Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Hope you're all having a great and wonderful day. And it seems that the culture war is starting to take over, right? It seems that us people, the normal people, are starting to revolt against the crazy culture war, and that is just all the reality. And what we have here is a women's volleyball team forfeits against another volleyball team that had a trans athlete. Because again, there's a few things I want to go over on why having a trans person in a volleyball team has severe consequences. But I digress. We have this here saying Boise State women's volleyball team forfeits match over trans competitor Blair Fleming. San Jose State University's women's volleyball team has been undefeated this season, with the team's record sitting at 10-0 after the forfeiture. The team includes trans-identified male Blair Fleming. Goes on to say, Boise State University's volleyball team forfeited its Saturday match against San Jose State University over the opposing team's inclusion of a biological male player. That player, who goes by Blair Fleming, has led to the team to a 10-0 win streak. In a statement ahead of the game, Boise State outkicked Boise State volleyball will not play its scheduled match at San Jose State on Saturday, September 28th, per Mountain West Conference policy. The conference will record the match as a forfeit and a loss for Boise State. The Broncos will next compete on October 3rd against Air Force. Boise San Jose State University's volleyball team has been undefeated this season, with the team's record sitting at a 10-0 after the forfeiture. The team includes trans-identified male Fleming. The NCAA said in a statement, college sports are the premier stage for women's sports in America, and the NCAA members will continue to promote the Title IX, make unprecedented investments in women's sports, and ensure the fair competition for all student athletes in NCAA championships. Ahead of the game, the Independent Council on Women's Sports penned a letter urging the Mountain West Conference and schools other than the conference to take action to protect female athletes in the conference. Over the past few weeks, we have spoken with distraught student athletes and their parents, coaches, and administrators throughout the Mountain West Conference regarding a crisis in MWC women's volleyball, the letter stated. Currently, the NWC and an NCAA member athletic conference, of which all but one of your schools is a public university. San Jose State University, a California state, of course, and a university, and WC member school, and the National Collegiate Athletic Association are violating federal law by implementing and enforcing the NCAA transgender eligibility policies and permitting a transgender identifying male, Blair Fleming, to compete on the SU's women's volleyball team. Former University of Kentucky swimmer Riley Gaines, who is working with Icons in its lawsuit against the NCAA over the inclusion of trans-identified males in women's sports, told Outkick, "I commend Boise State's athletic department and everyone involved in the decision to forfeit their match against undefeated San Jose State. Some principles just transcend winning on the court, and the safety and well-being of female athletes is one of them. Notably, San Jose State senior co-captain Brooke Slusser has joined the lawsuit. It's encouraging to witness a growing number of institutions prioritizing fairness and athlete safety over forced inclusion. I hope to see more universities follow the lead of Boise State and Southern Utah, standing up for what's right and protecting the integrity of women's sports. Boise State is the third school to either drop out of competition or consider dropping out in matches against San Jose State. Southern Utah withdrew from a match scheduled for September 14th, and the University of Wyoming is reported considering dropping out from its upcoming October 5th match." Yeah, this is huge. This is huge. For quite a few years now, guys, it's always been to where women in particular were just allowing this to happen and kept on going, right? And that's an issue. But it seems finally now that women are pushing back against this insanity, pushing back this stupidity in all regards. Now, I'm going to show you guys one thing here that is a big deal. Now, we have this here, volleyball player, right here. This is right here. As it's shown here. Female volleyball player 17 left paralyzed with brain damage by a transgender opponent who cackled with delight after knocking her to the ground. Yeah, so again, guys, this is the reason why we don't allow men versus women, because this is the result of what happens. And this was a volleyball player. And Boise State understood that this potentially could happen to one of their students, and they are refusing to play. This is good. This is all around good. I think that maybe we have to have some more pushback in terms of, maybe saying having the other people forfeit because they are violating all these other codes and stuff like that, and they should have to be forfeit. But this is still a good direction. We got to take the W's where we can, and then maybe later we can force to where we have these other teams had to forfeit instead of having a transgender athlete rather than having to or whatever, right? Like I said, if you transgender people want to go be in the sport, then create your own sport. All right, go create your own sport. If you want to have transgender against transgender people, by all means, have that sport. You're allowed to have it. Go create your own thing. But don't go and hijack other people's sports, take control over it, and then this is where it's going to be the result, because you're going to end up hurting people. Again, this is what happens: paralyzed with brain damage. And this is not a laughing matter. It's the same thing. So good on these girls, good on this state do this. I think a lot more people should go against it. I think that Air Force should immediately also forfeit this as well. And then it just goes to show that, like, oh, well, how does this person win? Let me see. Oh, well, 2 teams forfeited, and then it says this is where they got all this wins. Or even worse, how about this? Have all the teams forfeit or just not participate in the sport at all, and then guess what? Then they're going, well, how did this person win all these games? Oh, well, all these teams forfeited. Well, this person's record is a lie because they all forfeited the game. So there was no actual competition. This needs to happen a lot more. I think women need to push back way more on this and all this stuff, because I think this is where we're going on. Title IX was specifically designed, even though I'm not a true component because of the what's going on with with the sexual assault and stuff like that, to where women go accuse this and all that. But that's beside the point. They're abusing Title IX to allow transgender people into women's sports and make them lose and make them all completely get out of their, make women leave their sports, and this is causing the actual problem in this country in women's sports. And I think in order to solve this problem, we need to have way more pushback. So again, this is promising. This is happening more consistently in our country. It needs to happen, and this is the reason why I think our culture war, we're pushing back, and the trans people are losing it. They're not doing as well as they thought, and I said, it's super close to where we're going to have a lot of these D-trans people coming out and speaking about. And they should. A lot more should. Tell your story, D-trans people. Please. D-transgenders, please go and tell your stories. Let your voices be heard. Because you guys don't deserve this butchering, this traumatic stuff to happen to you guys because of what you've been lied to. It's completely insane. It's monstrous, and it needs to be stopped. And this is all good, and I hope that more people happens. Alright, guys. That's it for the video. Like, subscribe, share. As always, take care, my friends.
I'm disgusted by what I see in public. Even people closest to us can't be trusted, because it's algorithmic disease, the social media.